Hey guys, Mansinged here bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video, and so today we are going to be taking a look at the AGL Paikuhan EZA that's just come out alongside the other World Warriors and of course Janemba. Still funny that Janemba is not on Other World Warriors, considering he literally only exists and fight takes place in the Other World. But anyway, we got AGL Paikuhan. His leader skill is Connected Hope 3 key 180. Super class 3 key 130. Could be useful as like a sub lead for Battlefield and stuff like that, but obviously, you know, going into the 220 meta as we are now, not exactly a unit that's going to get used for his leader skill very much, I think, outside of modes like that. But his super attack effect, his normal super is greatly raise attack for 1 turn, immense damage to the enemy, greatly lowers attack. So obviously some of the bosses that we do have that can be attack lowered, the greatly lowering attack is really useful. And then when there's an ally whose name includes Goku Angel or Vegeta Angel, we get the unit super, which is the same effects. It just also gives him greatly effective against all types. He still greatly raises attack and still greatly lowers attack. So yeah, he just gets attacks effective against all types, which obviously is useful, especially if we are fighting a tech enemy. So his passive basic effects, 200% attack and defense, 50% chance to dodge. He gives super class allies 2 key attack and defense 30%. For 7 turns from his entry turn, he has an extra 200% defense and guard. Then when you get 3 type key spheres or more, he gives other World Warriors or Connected Hope characters an extra 30% attack and defense. So obviously super class characters in those categories would be getting 60%. He launches an additional attack that has a great chance to become a super, and as long as you get 1 rainbow orb, he gets 4 key, an extra 20% chance to dodge, so he'll have 70% dodge chance, and he seals the enemy for 2 turns. So again, for something like Battlefield, pretty useful effects. He also gets 200% attack and defense when attacking if you get 12 or more key. So the only issue with this guy really is that he is not on the craziest of teams in terms of like the current meta, right? He's on Cell's 220 team, but he's a superclass support unit, so that's not necessarily super helpful for that team build. The biggest problem, I guess, for him in the current meta is that he's not on the leader skill for any of the 10th anniversary LRs, like the, you know, AGL Gogeta or Tech Vegito. You could quite happily run this guy on the team even if he was only getting the 170 lead, because he's just there to be a support, but he's actually not on any of the categories that they give the 170 leader skill to. So in terms of like teams in the current meta that he's sort of going to be a top choice for, it's unfortunate that he misses out on those ones specifically. So he is on teams like, because he's on categories like Accelerated Battle, he'd be on Glorio's team. So if you would do the fun like team build where it's like Glorio and then a bunch of like Gohans, like the super class demonic power characters, or Glorio's team has the 10-year fusions on it, Paikuhan could go on that team. You could literally have Paikuhan and the 2 Glorios as floating support units, but because we want to showcase him, we're going to keep him on rotation. We're running the Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku team. So that's one thing to be aware of when we see the numbers for him in this video, that he is only getting a 170 lead from the team, right? But you can see with that extra defense he gets for the 7 turns, he's at 358k start of turn. So when he super attacks, he gets 200% attack and defense. So he's going to be going up to over 1 million like defense here in slot 1 with guard. Also, if we get this, we obviously get the all the orbs here for all the buffs. So that gives everybody on the team the rotation, even the 60% support, and then we'll go ahead and do this. So starting out 12 million for the initial attack. And remember, this guy is not going to be a damage dealer necessarily. Like, he could do okay, like 12 million is fine, but obviously he's here for the support more so than anything. And then we get the additional from the passive, obviously greatly raises attack, so we go up to 13, and we get the hidden potential as well. Let's go. So 14.4. So, I mean, considering, again, he's really just on the team to help out defensively. Help out with support, I should say. Not bad in terms of damage output. And then we dodge the super, dodge the normal. But yeah, like I say, at that point, he would have had over 1 million defense with guard, which is pretty good. Now, obviously, his super attack effect doesn't raise defense, which, you know, he does get like 200% when he attacks. I think that's fine. The issue will probably be after the first 7 turns when he loses that bit of extra defense at the start of the turn. I think for him it's similar to the physical Super Kaioken Goku, right? Where if he raised defense on Super, that would make him significantly better, especially on turns like that we just saw, where you end up getting 3 super attacks in one turn. Because it does mean that he will be dodge or die when it comes to the harder hitting boss like super attacks. In most events, especially with the guard for that first 7 turns, like having over 1 million defense and guard, he will be tanking normals from like most of the bosses, right? And then obviously he does have the 70% chance to dodge, as long as you're getting the rainbow orb. And that's the thing, even on a turn where for some reason you can't get a rainbow orb with him, he does still have the 50% chance to dodge as like the base part of his kit. So I think that works out fine for him. Let's just grab these for you. I mean, I feel like there's no way we don't finish off Goku Black here on this turn, so just go ahead and do this. But yeah, Paikon's one of those characters that is very easy to just throw him onto any super class kind of team that he could fit on previously, and with this EZA, he's always going to be supporting all super class allies. So when you pick up the 3 type key spheres of him and he gives other World Warriors or Connected Hope characters extra support, that's obviously a nice little extra boost. But even on teams where you don't really have characters on those categories, it's still going to be helpful that he's giving the 30%. And then yeah, both the 10th anniversary LR fusions are on other World Warriors, so they benefit massively from this Paikon. Like I say, it's just unfortunate that he's actually not on their leader skill. Like if he was just on, if he was on any of the categories they give a 172, that would be great. But obviously with Goku, it's Earth Protecting Heroes, which Paikon is not on, and then Pure Saiyans and Fused Fighters. And then for Vegeta, it's Successors, which Paikon is not on, and then Pure Saiyans and Fused Fighters. So unfortunately, he doesn't make that team. I think that's the only downside for him at this current time, like with the release of his EZA. That is probably the team you would most want to put him on, because it's one of the best like super class teams in the game at the moment. But he just doesn't fit on the team, like not even on the 170, which would have been, I think, perfectly fine to run him on, because again, the numbers that we're seeing here are from him on a 170 lead. So if we're running him on Cell's team, for example, where he's getting the full 220, he's not going to be providing support to anyone if we're running a lot of extreme units. But obviously his own numbers are going to look significantly better. But obviously the point is, like, why would we run him on that team if he's not getting the if he's not providing support to anyone? Like, he's not doing, I think, enough to warrant being on that team over some of the other options. Let me attempt, let's see what happens here. We'll put him in slot 1, get the orbs. So he's at 378 with guard. Now obviously if he gets immediately supered in slot 1, that's potentially GG right there if he doesn't dodge. But we've got the 70% dodge chance. I mean, he isn't a slot 1 unit. Yeah, see, 200k from a normal with the guard. I just wanted him to get another attack in, because obviously if we put AGL Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku in slot 1, he's just going to kill him. But you can see there, like, 200k pre-super, but then once we get our super attack off, that 370 goes up to a pretty significant amount, right? Like 370k plus 200% is 1.1 million. So in terms of tanking normals, like 1.1 million with guard, I think is, you know, perfectly fine. Do we put you... Yeah, it's only your... Actually, it's your 3rd turn. Should still tank a super, I think. Or do we go ahead and risk putting you in slot 1 here? Get the dodge. Try and go for the dodge, I guess. Do that. Bad key for the Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku, though, unfortunately. But yeah, Paikon definitely seems solid. And of course, the thing that we have not mentioned yet, because it's not been available, oh, good work, Goku, is the fact that he has the active skill for the Ghost Usher, which will come in handy. But jump back in here, I guess. Okay, so we're back in. I've actually not seen this sort of attack pattern set up from Rose before, because we know he always attacks in slot 1, usually, because it's like his super attack is one of his first scheduled attacks for the turn for the most part. But I don't think I've seen him not attacking at all in slot 1 before, so that's an interesting one. Obviously you can see Paikon's super active skill is now available. His active skill can be activated when facing only one enemy whose HP is 50% or more, starting from the 4th turn from the start of battle, and it is delays a single targeted enemy's attack for 1 turn. Essentially, Ghost Usher, I believe he was the first character to have Ghost Usher active skill. I'm trying to think. He came out before the tech androids, didn't he? I think he did. He's the first character to have a Ghost Usher active skill. Obviously, very, very useful ability. Now, annoyingly, he needs 3 type key spheres to get the extra support, which we cannot get here in slot 1, which is kind of annoying. But at least we can get the rainbow orb for him, which I suppose doesn't really matter too much on this turn anyway. Grab those for you. Yeah, Angel Goku and the Vegeta after supering should both be fine here defensively. And yeah, we can still see we're still at about 11.5 in terms of attack. But again, like with this guy, wouldn't be too hyper focused on his attack stats or like his actual overall attack power, because that's not what he's on the team for. He will, for the most part, like outside of this kind of showcase setting, he's just going to be floating in slot 3 and then providing that support to the team. But yeah, overall I would say he's pretty decent. He doesn't jump out immediately as being like one of the best EZA TURs. I think largely because of the team situation. Like just looking at, like if we look at his, I've got the thing up here for his stats and everything. If we look at his 200% leads, obviously Cell is the only 220 leader that he has. And then he's on the Carnival, like the 9-year LR Gogeta, because obviously he's a movie hero. He's on the STR Carnival Goku, the Hachiyak special, Battle of Wits 200%. Obviously, he's very outdated in the meta at this point. He's on the 200% leader skill for both of the Gammas, but again, they are kind of outdated now, especially with the anniversary power creep. And then same for the Tech LR Piccolo, Power Awakening Piccolo, aka Orange Piccolo. They're the only 200% leads that he's on. So again, like we've got some teams like the Glorio team, which I think would be quite fun to run him on. I'm sure I'll do a video using like the Glorio team and having him set up on there. But it definitely is a situation where it's just a shame that like some of the better teams that we could run him on, like, or that we would want to run him on, I should say, he's not on, right? Some of the better teams like in the meta, but it just is what it is, unfortunately. So refusing to go GA, yeah, of course he's super attacking as the first attack of the turn. I think Angel Goku probably isn't in the best spot to be tanking that here on this turn, so I think we'll just go ahead and do this. Although I suppose, what is his post-active skill defense? Just throw out a bunch of active skills here and see what we're looking like. Because he's attacked multiple times here. Because remember, he gets the 5% damage reduction up to 30 with each super attack performed. Then he's supered 5 times. So he's got 25% damage reduction from that. But then he's been in battle for 5 turns. So he will have lost, yeah, most of his damage reduction here, unfortunately. Yeah, 75%, so he's going to be at 15. He's going to have 40% damage reduction. And Rose hits quite hard, so I think we'll just go ahead and do this just for the sake of getting through to the next phase here. Because obviously, ideally, what you use Paikuhan for is we get to this, like, the final phase, and then we throw out the Ghost Usher, and then that gives us a free turn. So we can go ahead and do that. Keep these fusions together for their links, and then do that. So we should do a pretty significant amount of damage here for the turn. Obviously on the active skill turn, Vegeta is just going to eat this for a decent amount. Is that my Vegeta? I assume it is, right? 55% if he's taking that kind of damage. I mean, obviously we haven't had any turns where we've done any supers with the Vegeta side of the card, so he hadn't built up any defense at all. So yeah, that was with 60% damage reduction and guard. So yeah, the Angel Goku definitely would not have been tanking that super very well in slot 1 there. But get some counters off here with Vegito. And then by the time the 2 fusions have attacked, if he is still alive, there's those couple of extra hits at the end of the turn which Vegito can then counter with his post-super buffs. Because, yeah, obviously 55% Vegito, he's not exactly doing insane attack stats with his own supers, but a lot of this damage just comes from the post-super counter-attacks. Because, I mean, attack stat-wise, obviously, again, mine's only 55%, but attack stat-wise, he's doing the same as, like, the Paikon, who's on a 170 lead. But obviously is a rainbow, like, EZA to UR, so... In fact, I'm not sure, will we finish him off here? I don't know. Gogeta's got the 16.3. Obviously, a lot of the units on this team are only getting the 170 lead from Goku as well, and that's, I guess, the problem in making the team for the showcase. Like, this is obviously not the most optimal team that we would run some of these units on, but I know in order to be able to get Paikon on the team, that's kind of... It is what it is, right? That's how it's got to go. So... Cool, it's going to be close. Oh, he's going to survive, isn't he? One more attack we would have needed to get the final blow. That's crazy. Well, that's annoying. Is this going to kill him? Obviously, we can't use the active skill for Paikon because the enemy's on low HP. Of course, that doesn't kill him. What a pain. You've been in battle long enough to still have short enough time to still have guard. So if we do this, that puts him at 378 with the guard. I guess we'll just have to do this. But yeah, that's a massive pain. He's got a 70% chance to dodge. So we'll see what happens here. If we die, we die. There we go. That's what we like to see. And then 12.6. The thing is as well, is Paikon's not exactly got the best link partners. Like, he is literally your classic, like, floating third slot support. Because his link partners are characters like Piccolo, Nail, Super Paikon, Hit, Hearts, who will be getting an EZA later this year. But, yeah, he doesn't really share a lot of links with a lot of these characters on the team. Because, again, he's really just there to be floating in slot 3 and buffing the other characters. So, you know, it's not really the end of the world that he's not getting all these links active and doing like crazy attack stats or anything like that, but it is a little bit disappointing, I guess, because obviously as a unit he does seem very, very good. His EZA is definitely a well designed, like very effective for what he needs to be used for, like his role on the team. It's just unfortunate that, as I say, the big thing currently in the meta... Wow, there's no rainbow orbs, even with the orb changing. Bruh. God, we've had such terrible luck in this in this run. Unbelievable. I mean, you've got, what, 600k defense with 60% damage reduction and guard. Is that going to be enough? I can't believe we can't get any rainbow orbs. Because if you get a few rainbow orbs, you can just throw Gogeta in slot 1 and then it's fine. But, yeah, that's very annoying. But yeah, that's the most disappointing thing about this Paikon. Like, he is very, very good, but he's just not on really any of the major teams that are being run at the moment. And again, if you run him on the Cell team, it seems kind of pointless because he's going to be getting the full leader skill boost, so his numbers are going to be that much higher. But then he's not supporting anyone on the team, because not only are they not super class, but then if you're getting the type orbs, he's supporting other World Warriors or Connected Hope characters, which is not any of the Cell characters or a lot of the other units that you'd be potentially running on Cell's team. So that's, I think, the only downside, I would say, for this Paikon, is his EZA seems very good, very well designed, but obviously I'll probably do a new one in the next day or two. We do the EZA TUR's like tier list. I don't know how high I would be able to put him on that list because of the fact that he's just not really on any of the major teams that you'd want to run at the moment, which is unfortunate. But definitely a solid unit, solid EZA. We just need, I guess, a better team for him to be on. Like, he'll age relatively well as a floating support unit, like 70% chance to dodge, guard, over 1 million defense after supering. Like, as a floating support unit, that's perfectly fine. And the fact that he's giving 60% attack and defense to the specific characters that you're going to want him to be supporting, like the 10-year fusions, definitely going to be very effective. It's just not on the best team setup at the moment. But yeah, fortunately, this is one of the few times we would say this, but fortunately Zamasu has a lot of HP to the point where we will actually be able to get the active skill. Because if we, although I suppose, I don't know, how much damage is Vegeta going to do? Vegeta's not going to get guaranteed crits on the counters, but he, yeah, the AoE was fortunately, there's no more AoEs, so Vegeta's not going to do any more counters. And now post-supering, Goku should be okay. Because obviously I think he's reached his max for the amount of damage reduction that he can get, but he does get some defense from actually super attacking as well, so yeah, so he's able to take double digits at the end. I really liked this AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku. You guys know I had him at number 1 on my like Dokkan Fest TURs list for quite some time, but obviously now that events have gotten this little bit longer from the anniversary and bosses have so much HP, which is what's made them take so much longer, he does become a bit of a defensive liability later into the event. But we can go ahead and check out the active skill here. So there's our boy Paikuhan.
You won't get past me. I'll show you the skills of a master.
And there we go. So Ghost Usher for the turn, and then that means we can go ahead and do something like this. We do share 3 links with the Goku and Vegeta before they fuse, but then once they fuse into Gogeta, then it becomes just Fierce Battle. So not the best in terms of links, but it is what it is. We've got our unit super attack partner, so there we go. I guess we'll see the final thing here. Consistently at around the 11 to 12 million attack stat mark, and then obviously going up to 13, potentially 14 if he's then getting the additional from his passive and the hidden potential. But obviously where he is going to become a bit of a liability is once that 7 turns have passed and he doesn't have the guard anymore. I think the ideal thing in these slightly longer events is that's when you would ideally try and save to use the active skill for, and then float him off, even if you had him on rotation before. Because then say you're on like turn, 8 or 9, he's not going to come back for another 3 turns, and by then you will potentially be in a position where you'll have either won already or you win on that final turn where he's in slot 3. Because once that guard runs out, then of course he could be taking some big damage from some of these bosses if he's not dodging. It's just one of those things, but how many characters do we have now that have 70% chance to dodge, but when they don't dodge at the crucial moment, it means you lose the run, right? So he's going to end up being one of those characters in situations against the hardest hitting bosses. But it is what it is. Like I say, for a floating support unit, I think it's perfectly fine. A unit that's on the team just to give support and float in slot 3, them having, guard, over 1 million defense post super, providing 60% support to the specific characters, like, I think that's pretty good. So let me know what you guys think down below of the AGL Paikuhan EZA. Certainly very solid. He just kind of misses the mark a little bit at the moment by not being on some of the main sort of teams in the meta, but we'll try him out in some other scenarios, in some other events, and see how we get on. But let me know your thoughts down below. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.